welcome back to Tanares RPG. Flanks06 here, doing another update video here on trying to get us back up to speed on the Tanares RPG Kickstarter and other delicious details. I got Code here with me today to help me go over. Man, how many we got here? Like four? Holy crap!
We got a lot to go through.
I know, right? So I'm sure many of you guys have already been digging into all this for a while, but we'll go through here, kind of give you our own thoughts, and since there is a lot, and a lot of you already know, we'll just get to it. So anyway, starting off here, for people that maybe I guess this is maybe a little understated. I always like this in a lot of Kickstarters. One that does like a quick little news summary, so that way you don't necessarily have to like dig into everything, especially like if you're scrolling through those Kickstarters. It has this top section where it just explains to you exactly what's talked about in that update, and then you can just skip on to the next one, especially if you're looking for information. So it's really great for that. Dragori's done a pretty good job of doing that with almost all their updates. I think there has been some that they did miss some of those, but they've looks like they've kind of picked that up again. And here we go. So update number 650, stretch goals unlocked. So they talk in this one here about the painted penumbral dragon upgrade. You'll see the rendered picture here. This is not actually like the final thing. This is just an initial look. They said that they're going to improve this quite a bit. It's suboptimal, but I don't know. I personally didn't think it's too bad. Maybe it's a little too strong, like purple in some areas, like some of these tentacles. But what do you think, Code?
I mean, I overall liked it. I know it's just like kind of like a stock photo, so the end result was going to be different. But that's the first thing I jumped to when I read this was just a picture of that, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So I think it's cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't too disappointed. I know there were some people that didn't really like the coloring, but I mean, I don't think it's a bad start, especially when you compare to dragons that we saw last year. In fact, almost a year ago, I think it was probably in November last year that we saw the like the bright blue dragon, right, for the dragon collection that was like hideous looking, and then the screwed up face and everything else. But
Still burns my eyes, but
yeah, but I don't think that's too bad start. Then here they talked about the unboxing dragon collection. Um, Also check out my video if you haven't seen it as well, so you can see up close each of these dragons. The paint job is fantastic. It's not going to be as good as a hand painted professional, but if you're not a professional anyway, you're probably not gonna, you're gonna get probably at least this level, unless you're pretty good. Um, then you'll probably do better than that. But personally, I think this is great, especially a great way to get on the table real quick. I've had a lot of people. I took this with me to convention that really love these dragons, so definitely give it a look if you haven't seen it. Painted golden dragon. We've talked about this previously. There's the video here of the painted dragon spinning around, having the time of his life here. Um, the gold color really comes out a lot better in this versus some of the earlier photos we saw where there wasn't as much light. So I did like this shot of him a lot better because you can really see that gold shine. Um, so probably from this update, this was probably maybe one of the most interesting things. So we knew that the painted options were like machine painted, but the other thing that they didn't mention is they say that a human grabs the miniature afterwards to work on the fine details. So this is still hand painted, which was shocking to me. I thought the entire thing was completely machine painted and there wasn't any hand painted type details, but apparently there is. So we see here painted auger that looks like he's probably getting his eye and maybe some other things in his mouth. I'm not exactly sure what part they were painting on here, but that was pretty shocking to me. because that's I'm sure that's a lot of labor there to do that. I mean,
Tons of labor.
how many freaking dragon collections do you think they ended up selling?
A good number, but I mean, I feel bad for the few people that had to sit there all day and just keep doing the same painting and have to make it as consistent as possible.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right? It's just yeah, crazy amount of work to do that kind of thing. Okay, so let's move on here. So they talk about how you can upgrade your pledge. I will mention that this is actually something the Penumbral Pax Penumbral Dragon is painted for $19. It's just that miniature, so don't expect all the other miniatures that are in the pack to also get that paint job as well. It's just the Penumbral Dragon. And then they mentioned about the Gold Dragon painted option, the Madness Box, Dragon Collection. All those prices are listed here, uh, so you can see what those are. And then they describe how to go through the process. If you guys really want to, we could go talk about that. But I feel like a lot of people that follow me have already kind of done that kind of stuff before, so we don't really need to go into that. So they talk about a lot of the stretch goals, which I think we have kind of went over some of these before. They describe how the stretch goals are talked about and the way that how they're unlocked and what they are and which pack they apply to, and then how they're part of these different chapters. At the time of this, right? So this is update 6. This came out. When did this come out? This came out on September 6th, so that's been 10 days ago that we were below 1350, and we're like, what, 200,000 more than that right now?
Yeah.
So, anyway, so there's some updates here. Specifically, the bigger item here is this 30-page adventure booklet for the hunt for Asmore. I think we did actually talk about this before. This did get unlocked. This won't be, at least as of right now, it's only going to be a digital reward. It's not going to be a physical reward. It's possible that if they were to get the development done early enough, that maybe they could make it a physical, but um, unlikely. Um, Kinetic Fist, the subclass reveal for the monk class. We didn't talk about this one before, right?
No.
Yeah, so it talks about, and personally, I'm not as familiar with RPGs and like D&D, so I'm still, learning a lot of this as I go along as well as you guys probably are, but talk about the kinetic points and how these kinetic points can be used in offensive and defensive ways that you can use with this new kinetic fist subclass. Um, you can use in a lot of different types of attacks. It says the most interesting feature about this monk is that your using your key points won't feel like a loss, as each point used will build your kinetic points, enabling new fun uses of your abilities. So the key points, I think, is the monk like main mechanic, and then then the kinetic points, I think, is the new subclass feature. Um,
Mm.
so anyway, and then they've been ending all of these with projects we love to help support other creators, and I believe they do the same kind of thing in turn to try to help support each other. All right, let's move to update number 7, chapters 1 to 4, GM less pack. So the this update talks about more stretch goals that were unlocked. This was 3 days after the last update. Most of them have been 3 days apart. Preferably, I wish that they would do updates on a daily basis, but I know some people don't like receiving that many updates. They think it's just too much. Personally, as somebody that follows these quite closely, I enjoy it. Kind of something interesting to look at each day, but I understand that's not necessarily for everyone. So anyway, campaign updated Um, let's see, and then I think the biggest thing from this, so they talk about a bunch of these stretch goals. So here's the what's this? The pain miniature. Look at them. Oh yeah, you like those tentacles, Code?
Absolutely. Hope to cut them all off.
That's all you need.
Ugh,
Then they talk about some of these different regions, like or monsters from like the dire insects from the ancient forests of Sindile,
Sindel.
Sindel. Sure, let's go with that.
Sounds good.
Spider miniature that's being added to the villain pack. I think we actually have gone through a lot of these before, but really the better thing is that we're getting a little bit more detail on them, where they're talking about them coming with certain size cards. Gold size, by the way, I think it's like 80 80 millimeters by 120 millimeters. I think the official size is called Dixit, but for some reason Dragori uses the term gold size, which I've never heard before. But that's the official size, and I could be screwing up the dimensions on that, but I think Dixit is the correct name for this size of card. So you can go look that up on Google, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. Um, then we see another greed miniature here, second copy. The tower miniature in more closer detail. I did find out. I mentioned to Alex about this, and so they mentioned the medium's miniature can decorate your physical scenarios, dungeons, or serve as an obstacle in board game battlefields. And then where is the part? Is it this update that they talk about how they use it as like a tracker for whose turn it is? Or is
I
that a
think
different
that's
one?
a later one.
Yeah, so I talked to them about that because that seemed kind of disappointing to me. Well, so I think they did say that they do plan, at least like in the new campaign arc, they're planning to give some uses to this building that'll provide like an aura or something like that in the board game type of effect. And I also mentioned to them that it'd be really good if it could have some other use besides just like an individual quest. So I mentioned to Alex about maybe, maybe it could be used in building like a PvP map or something, and we get a new terrain type item that we can put in there and be able to use it in some other way, right? Rather than it just be used for pretty minimal uses of tracking tokens, because I don't know. Everyone has their own opinion on tracking tokens. I've recently gotten to playing the game Nemesis, and it's got a bazillion tokens. Cool game, but um, my God, there's a lot of tokens, and a lot. Some of them feel kind of redundant or not really needed. And I like, if I'm going to use something, I feel like I should actually have like a reason for it. So anyway, still remains to be seen what will come of this, but I put some words into their ears, and hopefully some exciting things will be come out with this undead tower miniature. Again, an extra Curus miniature. We'll talk more about that later, but there is a second one. Um, and then some of these other updates we talk. Here's a good picture of Cordal, real big size. This is I think the Ebaton miniature that's in Arena of the Contest. The talking some more about. Oh, and this was another thing that I discussed with them, but other people had said as well. Updating these graphics to include, so you know exactly, hey, scenario pack, it comes with these miniatures plus these stretch goal miniatures. This last one here we'll talk about in a further update here, but as you'll see, there's a lot of these tower miniatures, gravestones that will hopefully give some new use, um, and maybe not just used for tracking. And there's a up close of the tombstone. So they're pretty cool, renders there of these miniatures. Obviously, they're never going to come out to that extreme details you're going to get in a render, but it's still pretty good.
Pretty. I do like the tombstones. They're pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I
I
think they're pretty cool. Even if they come out like half of that, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm a little bit more preferential to the tower. I really like that tower. So, but you know, they're all cool in their own way. So then we got some more regions that they talk about. All this stuff is going to be used in the RPG books. Um, New Gloomfolk. Yeah, they talk about NPC equipment, an extra anger miniature. Which I think this one's the anger, right? The one with the tentacle tree.
Sphere.
That's fear. Man,
Yeah,
I get.
Anger's the one that has like the two knives coming out of its wrist type deal.
Oh, this one right here. That's what it
Yes.
is. There he is. Woohoo! Wouldn't want to get in a dark alley with that guy, right?
Especially if there's two.
Yeah, right. There's one dark alley. All right. So we actually saw this before. I don't think we ever talked about it though, but this is actually pretty cool. You should come play with it yourself. So it's a YouTube video, and it's one of these ones that's like a 3D type of picture. It's kind of interesting. So this is the Imperial Palace. You get the 360, so you can look up and look down and look all over the place. But over time, the time of the day is slowly progressing, and then it moves over into like the penumbral plane. Um, so it's kind of interesting. I think that the capital, like at least with like this whole water thing, it kind of reminds me of like the Taj Mahal or something, right? Or maybe like kind of the Capitol building, or it's got the big, long waterway in front and then a big building at the end.
Totally the Taj Mahal in the Tanares world.
Yeah. So anyway, you'll see how the day kind of progresses, and there's some weather changes. Pretty cool. All right, now it's gonna slow down. Come on. Anyway, you can play with that with yourself. Let's see if I could even jump to this penumbral plane part. See if it comes up. Now it's gonna slow down and not work. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Check it out on your own. All right, moving on. We got more NPC equipment card, extra Groomfolk miniature, monster card, subclass, the Redeemer, or the Shepherd. That goes to the Redeemer class. They haven't talked about this one yet, even as of today. So we'll talk about that in a future update. But they do mention that is one of the stretch goals. Then we got Gazzini Daddy here as a hero. A lot of
Beautiful.
excitement there. All right, here's the meat of this. So this is the GM-less mode. We talked about it a little bit more. There's this whole section that describes a little bit more about this mode, and it sounds pretty interesting. I've discussed it in the past where it's kind of like a choose your own adventure type, book. So it's kind of like that, but then it sounds like there's maybe a little bit more detail in that than necessarily like this one or that one type of situation. But it is definitely going to follow the um, Realms of Madness, Adventures in the Realms of Madness campaign. So if you're curious as if it's different or not, it is still the same campaign. They do a little Q&A here, which is pretty cool. So do my choices and actions during the change the outcome of the story? So yes, which very much choose your own adventure type stuff. Talks about who's controlling the monsters in combat, and then tells you like what books you need. And then, yeah, you can also use other classes that are not in the books to play through this. You can play this with solo, or you can play it with other people. If you haven't seen it, it's not a huge section, but it's a little bit that describes a little bit more, and it's the only thing we have so far that describes the GM list mode. So if you got time, go check it out. Rest of this stuff is another Kickstarter there, so check that out if you have time to. All right, update number 8. Um, Let's see. Well, this looks like I got a question here in the chat. Uh, you linked the rule set for 1.5, but I want to know if you have the quest and campaign tomb. Um, I have the quest book, but that's just for me personally that I'm looking at, and the campaign tomb I definitely don't have. And the reason we try not to give those out is because that's more of um, the specific property of Arena the Contest, and if we were to give those out, then basically, you wouldn't really need to purchase like the game. I mean, you could still get away with a lot of the other things that are already freely available. Um, but was there something specific you're looking for? If you let me know, maybe if there's something that you're missing, um, then I can probably get that for you. All right, moving on to update number 8, maps, maps, maps.
Yay, maps.
So this one actually came out, looks like 4 days after the last one. So we have this Facebook. Let's see if we can go to it here. See how it was doing. 141 likes and only 121 comments. So that was great. 6 shares, but you know how it is with this kind of thing. People have their own preferences for social media, and apparently RPG people and some of the board game people that are following this are not that interested in this kind of thing. So it hasn't done as well as they were thinking. It's got 1,000 likes, 1,000 comments, or that's what they're asking for, and we didn't exactly reach that, but it's okay because we will move on to what the next one will be, and I'll dive more into that. So there's another new add-on that was given here. So we have 24 dungeon maps. So these are 12 double-sided A1 poster maps. So it's not actually like 24, right? It's 12 and on, double-sided, obviously.
Right.
So it covers all the chapters in the Realms of Madness, so you wouldn't have to like go and print out any for yourself. You have it all here. $29. I think I think they did a price here, didn't they?
For what?
Maybe they were basically saying that it was like it's basically right a little bit over $1 a map.
Right, if
Um,
you want to think of it that way.
yeah, so pretty good size. I think they give some more detail down in the comments section. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. 749 by 535 millimeter. 4 pp, 180 by 250 GSM C2S paper. So if you want to know the specs on that map, there you go. You got it. um, so anyway, it seems like a pretty cool add-on. It seemed like a lot of people's perspective was that it was a good deal. Printing out like this many maps probably is going to cost more than $1 a map. Now, obviously, you're throwing in shipping and everything, so it may get closer, but I'm not sure how much. I've never personally printed these side of maps before, so I don't know how much it would cost if you went to like your local, printing store or whatever to go do that. Have you, Code? You ever print out giant size maps like this?
I can't say I've printed out giant maps before, but I have seen giant sketches printed out CAD drawings, so which is similar in a weird way, but not maps like that, not for
Yeah,
RPGs.
yeah. Here we go. Get some. One thing I kind of liked about this was the special little animation where they zoomed in on different parts of the map because I have seen people asking for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is the digital map that we have that you can get pretty good look at. I don't know if it's as close maybe as this graphic is, on seeing like the different cities and points of interest on the map. But I thought it was kind of cool little graphic here, so you can see better the entire Imperial Tanares map. All right. Moving on. Here we got the auger. Um, I don't, is this a real picture? I'm trying to remember if this was supposed to be a real one or not, or if this was like a rendered picture.
I think that's a rendered picture. I don't think I
Yeah,
don't know if
I
they have
think it's rendered too.
yeah.
Especially when comparing to that one we were looking at earlier, it doesn't look exactly the same. So there you go, Mad Walker. I actually really do like that miniature with like the whole like gate and actually like walking through the penumbral plane and that. It's pretty cool.
It's definitely awesome.
It's a great miniature there. Okay, so then here they describe again how to update your pledge. If you have questions about that, let us know. But it's really not too bad. Oh yeah, here's that link. So you can check the Imperial Tanares world map here, and you can look at that a lot closer. And then there's also the city map. Did I look at this? Maybe I missed this one. I think I have this. I basically have pretty much all the maps and everything. Oh man. Oh man. You remember this code? You've been around for a while, right, Code?
28 years.
There you
Is that
go.
what?
So you remember the I'm while this is loading, we're gonna just do a little story time.
Oh,
I
no.
remember this specifically as like a kid, in the days of like dial-up internet,
Ah, yes, I
right?
remember.
And you're like going to different websites and you click a picture like this and it does this exact same thing, where it's like did it did it did it.
And you would wait, and you
And
would wait there, and in
yeah,
all glory, just going, "Oh my God, it's almost there! It's
yeah,
gonna
it's
get there!"
come on, come on. And then of course, if you're a young boy with lots of hormones at that time, you're yeah. Sometimes it's taking too long for you.
And before you know, you X out of it really fast.
Exactly. You're like, okay, well, that was good enough. So that's as far as we'll get into that. Moving on here, we got more of the monsters, Queen of the Hive and its minions. Um, there's some discussion about, I think, some of the names of this, which maybe they've taken from some like Japanese lore. Um, but anyway, it's looks like some interesting things here. We get talk about the kinetic fists already. An extra Tamaku miniature. This is the first time I actually noticed this little robot here. I
I was
guess I
always
just
wondering about that.
skimmed over that like really quick. Yeah, he's got a little robot, a little like battle bot basically that he's um he built there. So the Tamaku are very much uh, workshop, very logical thinking type people that like building objects like this. In fact, I think one of the species traits in the RPG is that you can build like a certain device that you can use. And I mean, I don't know if you get to build a robot, but that's pretty interesting. It's kind of interesting too because it's kind of something that doesn't seem like it would mix super well, right? For like kind of high fantasy, having like a robot.
It's something a little unusual for this,
Yeah,
at least this thing. But I found it kind of interesting when I saw that. I was like, "Wait, does that fit?"
yeah. All right, then we got the Banette province here, talking about that, the colder region of the north with the Cold Valley crater. Um, I mean, I think I've talked about that a little bit. Personally, there's some areas that I've always kind of been curious about, and this is one of these areas where if you look at the top of the world map, oh man, it'd probably take too long to load it, but um, that it's got that big crater up there, and you always kind of wondered, like, whoa, I wonder what ever happened up there. And it sounds like we'll be getting a whole RPG book and history to know a little bit more about that. All right, then there's some more stretch goals here for chapter 9. The extra floors for the magical research tower. So it has 20 floors of encounters, traps, puzzles, and enigmas. It's not easy to get into the most protected floors of the tower, and once you're inside, it can be even harder to find your way out, with inner portals, spinning floors, and all sorts of magical devices and enhancements. So this is with this stretch goal, you'll have more options in your solo GM mode experience. So this can be also done with the solo mode there. And then the arena fight rules, um, that being added in there, so you can like bet, I believe, on different arena fights, so, RPG related stuff. Some divine spells that they're going to have in the RPG for cleric and druid, it looks like. Then we go on to an extra envy miniature. I believe this is the envy. It looks basically like a crazy looking frog or something.
Frog snake
Yeah.
thing.
Um, let's see. Arcane powered robots is how they theme it to make sense. Yeah, sure. Yeah. We'll go with that one. More NPCs and investigation lines for the Iron Hand Fortress. If you played the board game, you'll know what the Iron Hand Fortress is. A lot of these locations actually are locations that are in Arena of the Contest, like the Crystal Tower, and same thing with Iron Hand Fortress. Then we have the Kelros White Dragon Blade will be another subclass for the Dragon Blade. And they are going to talk about that, I believe. Are they going to talk about that one later?
Uh, yes. Well, they will talk about it later.
um, I mean, they said it adds new pages, physical and digital copies, specialized defensive movements abilities that increase your party's defenses against enemy attacks, and then blah blah blah, and specialized and sold as more. So, huh. All right. Well, anyway, hopefully they'll do a little bit more on that. We'll actually talk about subclasses a little bit more on this last update that's coming up, and then more monsters, magic destroying creatures spawn from the Malrokian curse, an extra Kemet miniature, and monster card for Tanares Adventures. That is pretty cool. So we're getting another character that you could use as like villains, or you could use as additional NPC characters, or maybe you just come up with your own character and you want to be this person. Magic items, weapons, and armor. Um, so they say items such as the Ogo Taimaku magical mace that can stun enemies, or the Tamarite armor enhanced with angelic power to protect the wearer against emotion controlling effects and powers that could completely immobilize its users. More locations, mystical province, um, which we've talked, I think, some about before, some of the history on that, and the location of the wastelands. And then we go here on to other projects like the Worm 1-1, which actually just finished its whole thing. Okay, update 9. Let's check questions real quick. So you have the original game, and then you want the 1.5 rules, quests, and campaign. Um, so we I looked through those, and there is some changes. Um, I bet you if you were to like, so I don't even have the 1.5 version of the quest to even give anyone. So if I had that, I may be able to give it to you, but I don't even have that personally. I have the original quests book saved, but that I just use personally. But if you so email contact@dragorigames.com, and show Alex and them that you may have purchased Arena of the Contest and you're hoping to be able to get that. Maybe they'll send you a digital version of those updates for like the quest guide and the campaign book. There's a few changes. There's not as many as you think. In the last quest that we played, we did find out that Gazzini was actually a lot stronger with his effect. He got like 8 healing versus I think it was like 4 healing from the original book. So that was a pretty big change in terms of that match, but otherwise it's exactly the same quest. But anyway, just try that as a possible suggestion. And then yeah, we'll get to that delicious thing at the end. Update number 9. This is the one that just came out today, so we're all caught up here, or about to get caught up here. 1.5 million raised, 20 stretch goals explained and revealed. All right, so we got even more stretch goals. So now they have this banner near the top of the page that talks about the 26 new miniatures that have been unlocked, the new adventure book, the new monster compendium, 100 plus cards, 7 quests, epic campaign arc, and the epic level. And then we're actually just here about to unlock this one, this Ed Greenwood's villain slash hero. 40 plus monsters, 24 locations, 3 subclasses, and more. All right, so we have a bunch of new collaborators that they are adding in their backgrounds here. This is, in my opinion, this is good. This is what I've actually been asking them for as well. So it says a little bit more of what they do. They will all create or created content in fields they master. For example, Mr. Stephen Kenson just recently submitted excellent materials for the Adventure Team chapter in Player's Guide to Tanares, an example of heroic super team with interesting members and intriguing plot involving their disappearance. So one of the complaints was, hey, well, we got all these guys, but, what exactly are they doing? In fact, I think Treant Monk here is a pretty big role-playing RPG YouTuber, so you probably could go check him up as well. He is now part of the team here, along with these other individuals. Um, but people didn't really understand what role they were playing in. They said that they're collaborators and that they'll be included in pages and pages and all this stuff, but it wasn't very specific. Sounds like we're getting a little bit better of an idea for like Steve Kenson. I think it would be great if maybe they found out at a certain point like what contributions they exactly did, just so that way you feel like you make those connections of that maybe you really like Treant Monk, for example, and you want to see what type of thing that he contributed to the game, and you know exactly what that is. That'd be great. What do you think, Code?
Definitely. I think each of these people come from different backgrounds. You got people who are big into RPGs, different websites, different publishing, different video games, as we know. So they have different strengths and weaknesses. So it'd be cool to see what their focus was on
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
project and what that brings to the table, or at least, gives you an idea of what they've been working on with Dragori as
Yeah.
well. So I think it'd be a cool add-on to
Yeah.
see each one.
Because I know that there has been a little bit of confusion that some people thought, for example, like Ed Greenwood developed Tanaris Adventures or Tanaris RPG with Dragori, but that's
Right.
not really true, right? Dragori
No.
made pretty much majority, almost all of this new RPG books and product, and then they're bringing on these guest contributors to add and expand even more to what they've already created, but it's not built from the ground up with these collaborators.
Correct. And think I remember seeing some people confused by that. And
It is actually written on the campaigns that that's not the case. It says characters, stories, monsters, and thousands of other words in several chapters brought to you by RPG Legends and Idols.
well,
So if you see this part, then it kind of tells you a little bit that it's like, okay, well, it's some chapters, in there, but it doesn't and personally it doesn't sound to me like it's like, oh well, we made the entire game with these people, holding our hands through it.
Right. So, I mean, participation at the top, I think they use the word, meaning that they helped out. It wasn't created from the ground up with them. So,
Yeah. So, anyway, so it would be great to get these additional people to help out, improve the product. That's really what it's all about, everyone. We always, want to hear your feedback, whether it's positive or negative, and try to improve the game, board game or RPG, and try to get the best product out. So it's, and it's of course also on the same side of with constructive feedback, right? Like, don't just, give crap to it the whole time and never say anything, constructive feedback to help, right? It's very easy to complain. It's a lot harder to provide that positive feedback that can help improve the game. All right, so more locations, more adventure hooks, Yama and Tavasan provinces. So Land of the East. I think I did talk about this one a little bit. I believe that's along the same areas where Rikaru originally comes from. Um, so they talk about the storage for miniatures. The one part that got to me about this was it talks about so you won't need to bring a lot of small boxes to you with you to your game sessions. The Penumbral Pack comes with extra spaces for you to store all the miniatures found in the classes, villains, Penumbral, and character pack. This does not include the numerous and some very large minis in the scenario pack, though. So, what if you piece on things? Does that mean, like, like, what if you get, the Penumbral pack just by itself and not any other add-ons? I'm assuming that you'll get a box with a lot of empty slots in it, which I know some people have recently not been happy with, but that sounds like that's a possibility if you don't purchase all the packs, right?
correct. Right. I'm not saying that there isn't a possibility for another solution to put everything in, but
Yeah. I mean, it's just really hard because they already talked about that they were going to put a bunch of things in Tanares Adventures, which also takes up spots, but then they were like, oh, well, we don't want to have a ton of empty slots in the Tanares Adventures stuff if you're not purchasing all this. So then they put it in here. I mean, honestly, no matter what, people are probably going to be happy because even unhappy because even if they end up like if they were like, oh well, we're just going to have all these boxes, then people will not be too happy that there's all these different boxes, right?
well,
So
I mean, I got a best case scenario solution for everyone.
yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, go all in.
Go. That's the best case scenario, huh?
You don't want empty spots, just buy everything.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it here, everyone. Just buy everything. Problem solved. The legendary box does have room for the villain, villain pack as well. Which, let's see. So they mentioned the villain pack in here. So my guess is there's not even enough room to put all the villains in there, especially because they've already stretched what was going to be in the villain pack. Let's see if I can jump down to it without. I probably already missed it.
Well, we do know where the main six go now, if you have received wave one.
Yeah, so Cordal, Goblins, Gazzini, Ebaton, Skeleton, Ghost Lord, Shield, Golem, Spider Miniature. So one, two, yeah. I don't think that. I don't think. I don't know. Is there? It's probably not for this. I bet you it's not for these stretch goal pieces. So it's probably Shield Golem, probably Ghost Lord, probably Skeleton Lord, probably Evaton, probably Gazzini, and probably Cordal. But I bet you the goblins are gonna go in the other box.
Or the goblins might go with the other
Two,
goblins
three,
in
four, five,
Tanaris.
six. Yeah. if there's 6 slots, which I personally don't know how many exact slots there are, so if you do know exactly how many slots there are, let us know in the comments. But just counting like the big guys here is 6, and I thought it was 6 before, so that's my guess as to who's going in the legendary box.
I believe it was 6.
Yeah.
I won't know till I get my box.
Oh my. Code is salty.
Just a little.
Poor Code. You're still waiting here too, along with everyone else. I mean, they did do. I mean, I guess I didn't talk about that. There was another Tanares Adventures update that talked about fulfillment. Maybe we can check that out. Let's finish this first. So, new monsters, oceanic monstrosities from the Central Sea. So we talk about some more monsters. These are all just like in the books, obviously. New Goemfolk equipment, new mini. So we started seeing these a little bit earlier, um, but there's a lot of these like different gender ones. So in the pictures that we've seen here earlier in the campaign, I think I already missed them. Is it below? No. I always go the wrong direction with these ones. Um, Dang it. Well, you know what I'm talking about. If you go in here, you'll be able to find the different pictures of the different races and classes. Man, where am I?
They
Oh,
might
it's
have.
down. It's all the way down here. I think they moved stuff. I feel like it's in a different order now. Okay, so and this is coming up to another point here. You'll see that there's the 2 pictures, the Dragon Blade. We had talked before about how we thought that they were going to maybe offer, different genders for these characters. It's looking like that's coming true now, especially because people were asking for it. So it makes me think this wasn't part of their original plan, but they are going to offer that now. So then here, for example, like the Tamaku, you get this lady and like well Mbolo is like a different character, but there's a different miniature for him, which we saw earlier. The Gloomfolk male and then a female version. And then the male and female Curus, and then male and female Kemet, which we've already seen a couple pictures of. So that's awesome. Gives some more options, and different sculpts is always good to see instead of just seeing, multiple copies of the same thing. Um, okay, then we got extra more Nightmare Challenge in Penumbral Mountain. Talked a little bit about that. Basically, it's some more challenging type parts of the journey. Add some new fact cards, rooms, and possible experiences in the solo path to the summit. Then this talks about the Hunt for Asmore book, which we talked about earlier. And then you'll see this is basically where we're at right now. Let's go back to the page here. We are at 150, 1,000, or 1,500,400, blah 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 blah. 1541725. And we're getting close to that value here, but it still keeps going on. But there's another community stretch goal type item here that's going to get us there quicker. So here we go. Talk about the other gender that they're offering. They talk about the Tanaran mounts, although this isn't actually a miniature that you're gonna get at least. Have we seen this before? That's not the Pegasus, right?
That is the Pegasus.
Is it? Did they
Yes.
change it? It looks different.
It does look a little different. Um, Again, I don't know if the model's changed at all,
Yeah. It looks
or
different.
maybe something is different.
Yeah.
But definitely resembles the Pegasus from Tanaris Adventures,
Yeah,
which
cause you'll see, some of this stuff where they talk about like new mini, different gender. They don't actually, by the way, they don't actually have those new sculpts yet. So any of like the pictures and stuff that you see is not actually like this one here isn't like the new ones yet. This is stuff from like Tanares Adventures, or it's just placeholder type stuff until they actually get those new sculpts. Yeah, that was a new miniature that I don't think I saw before, but that is a new one there. And then we got new location adventure hooks now in the capital province in Regenherat. Let's go with that.
Yeah,
Uh,
sounds good.
yeah, let's go with that one. The least populated part there, and then the capital, which obviously is probably one of the most busy ones. Here we go, Tamaku Mini. This one is different than even the one we saw before with the little arcane robot. So that's cool. And then it talks about Ed Greenwood's character. I mean, with how often that they've been showing this already, it sounds like this is definitely coming, right? And you know this especially not just because of what they write here, but because we go down to, oh God, I didn't want to miss this one here. Community mission to begin chapter 9. So in the next update, they'll begin a treasure hunt. It's an ongoing event with a very nice reward, which will take place almost entirely in the comments section. You have to search for clues and answers in everything Dragori, our website, samples, updates, images, maps, and above all, you'll have to work together. Sharing what you found with one another as teamwork has been valued in all of our projects. Today is the prelude to this activity. Comment and let us know who is your favorite Tanarian character and why. If we get more than 50 comments, you'll immediately unlock that Ed Greenwood stretch goal. And the most mentioned character will get its own avatar if they didn't already, and will be an important feature in the upcoming treasure hunt. So this is why this is important. So there's a portal miniature that's coming. That's cool, and there'll be stuff more on the wizard and other subclasses. They're gonna go basically they're gonna be doing updates like day by day here pretty soon. So let's just move on to lots of cool stuff coming. But of course, we're excited, especially about this community mission here with this treasure hunt and who's going to be this new avatar character. So let's talk about that tasty treat that we've been talking about. Um, Let me see if I can pull this up. Might come up better on Discord. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. And then I will cut
This
over here in a second so you can see it.
this is so much
The,
suspense.
the suspense. The suspense, everyone. It's going to be worth it. All right, here we go. This right here, if you can see my picture here, well, not my picture personally. This is somebody else's picture, one of the community members, XR. If you followed our channel at all, um, this is when he received his Wave 1 items. Of course, very excited to not just show us his items, but also to show us his banana. Not just any banana, everyone. The banana dragon. So the joke from this was that everyone saw this banana and was asking where the banana dragon came from, since obviously Dragori sent a banana, right? Like, why else wouldn't they send a banana in the package?
They want their player base to be healthy.
Yeah, exactly. No, no, no. Obviously, he's using this as a reference, but it's hilarious to believe that they would actually send a banana, and now has been named Anabum. Is that how's the name we're going with? Man, wow, this really blew up already. Um, so yeah, uh, yeah, Anabin. basically it's just banana backwards. And I started coming up with a backstory for the banana dragon here in about 30 seconds. But feel free to come up with your own backstory or some history because I'd love to know more about the banana dragon. It'd be awesome. It'd be hilarious, honestly, to see um, this community mission become either the banana dragon, and then some people for some reason want to include me as a character, which seems kind of silly as well. But I think the banana dragon is a definitely a worthy boss there to take on. Um, and there has been some renditions that people have come up here with as well. You can check in Discord. If you get your own photo, make sure to post it in the Tanares pictures area so we can all see your banana dragon battling the monsters or other dragons of Tanares. Like for example, here's mine, the banana dragon fighting the elder dragon. Just really waylaying into him, trying to take him out by the neck there. So let's see the banana dragon happen. To do that, go down to the comments here and tell everyone about a nobbin banana. It's banana backwards. Uh, and tell them about why you think he is the best Tanarian character that needs to be in as a what do they call it? Its own avatar. So let's get the banana dragon in there.
Get Banana Dragon as the avatar.
Yeah.
Our lifelong goal is to get him to boss versus boss.
Oh man, that'd be ridiculous. All right. And then yeah, so like I mentioned, there'll be a lot more stuff coming. So the amount of updates are really gonna pick up here in the next week. We got a lot more stuff coming in terms of exciting things to see, but I think that's pretty much it. I was going to do a talk about the number of miniatures and components that are offered in this one, but it's already kind of a long stream. So I'm going to save it for another video. We'll talk about it another time, get some more information, and we'll go over that then. But in the meantime, thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate your support. Um, and coming to watch and comment and hang out with us. We'll definitely be probably doing some more of that here in the next couple of weeks as the Kickstarter is coming to a close. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, family, all that good stuff. Really appreciate it. Helps me a lot and can help bring more stuff to you guys. But that's it for me. You got anything else, Code?
That's it. Make sure you get your pledges in. Always change it later before it ends, but just to help push those stretch goals. So
Yep, yep. Make sure to, if you want to get any of those updates that we talked about earlier, like, painted penumbral pack or getting additional maps or any of the other painted type options that you maybe hadn't selected before, or the GM list, solo adventure, all those things, add up. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.